Hello, everybody. In lesson 11.2, starting on page 525 of the second grade Go Math textbook, we're going to be working with attributes or characteristics of three-dimensional shapes. And so basically, you should be able to describe the faces of a rectangular prism and the faces of a cube. All right, so circle the cones and draw an X on the sphere. So let's circle the cones. Well, that's one. This is not a coin. Coin. This is not a cone. It does have a curved surface, but it doesn't have a point at the end. Okay, it doesn't go into a point like an ice cream cone or a party hat or a traffic cone. All right, so those are cones. All right, so they do have curved surfaces and they narrow into a point. All right, put an X on the sphere. Well, a sphere is round and can roll. Okay, so things like a basketball, a soccer ball, okay, um, a globe are all considered spheres. Okay, all right. So why didn't we circle these other shapes? Well, this one's a cylinder. This is a cube, and this is a. It looks like a rectangular face. I'd have to measure the sides to be exact, but I think the length of this side is longer than this side. I don't think the faces are all equal. Okay. If the sides were equal, that also would be a cube. All right, so 526. So there's three terms I need you to understand and know for identifying cubes and rectangular prisms, or if we're talking about them. So a face, that's the flat surfaces all the way around. Okay, so a cube has six square faces. Okay, one on top, one on the bottom, one on the right, one on the left, one on the back, one on the front. Okay, an edge. An edge is basically the side. Okay, and a vertex, that's the corners. Okay, so you could put circles for all the corners or vertices. The vertices are the corner points of the cube. All right, so now for this next activity, you're going to tell me how many of each of these three things each of the shapes below have. A rectangular prism. It has a top, a bottom, a left, a right, a back, and a front. So it has six faces. Edges. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Okay, so the top and bottom have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 edges. So why didn't we count this as an edge? Well, we did, but we counted it as part of the top. Okay, so if the edge is sharing a face, we don't count it twice. We only count it once. All right, how many vertices? Well, one, two, three, four on the bottom. One, two, three, four on the top. Okay, so 8 vertices. A cube. Remember that, or a square is technically a rectangle. Okay, it has the same qualities of a rectangle, but it's just that it can also be called a square. So a cube can be thought of as just having 6 rectangular faces. Okay, they just happen to be squares. So it is also going to have 6 faces. It will have 12 edges, and it also will have 8 vertices. So let's prove that. So we have the front, the back. Okay, so back and the front. We have the top and the bottom. We have the left and the right. So 6 faces. The edges 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Corners 4 on the top, 4 on the bottom. So, all right, let's go to 527. All right, so on this activity, we're going to use dot paper, okay? And we're going to draw a square, and we're going to make each side 4 units long, okay? So we draw a square. So basically, we're learning how to draw a cube, okay? So we have a face that is 4 by 4 by 4, okay? Every side is 4. All right. Now, step 2, you're going to draw edges from 3 of the vertices, okay? Like this. Okay, so 1, 2. We want it to be 4 going down. 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? And we want it 4 going back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And so that's what they did here. They just drew in two of the edges. Okay. So we had these 3 edges that we drew, and then we connected the edges we drew. Now, we need to show the side that technically we can't see. It's behind the front face, right? And so we use dashed lines for that. And so we're just going to draw down from the corner, this one down 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we know that the edge of it was 2 dots at an angle. And then it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 dash lines towards the back. Okay. All right, so trace all the faces of a rectangular prism on a sheet of paper and write to tell about the shapes that you drew. All right, so what do we need to do? Well, if you trace the faces of a rectangular prism, okay, let's go back to this one right here. If we trace the faces, right? So we have one, that's one rectangle. And then we have another one on the bottom. So that's 2 rectangles. We have the back side and the front side. So that's 4 rectangular faces. 4 rectangular faces. And we have 2 square faces. And 2 square faces. Okay. Hang on. Sorry about that. My power plug had come unplugged. All right, so let's go to page 528. Number 5. So Marcus traced around the faces of a 3-dimensional shape. Circle the name of the shape he used. Okay, well, square, 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 square. He didn't use cylinder. He's definitely not making a cone. There are no curved surfaces, so he's not making a sphere. So he's making a cube. Or he's tracing around the faces of a cube. All right, number 6. So on the second page of our lesson today, we basically identify what these different parts were. Well, every flat surface is a face. The sides of the faces are called edges. The corners of our 3-dimensional shape are called a vertex. All right, and so display the faces of a cube. Oh, sorry, describe the faces of a cube. Well, a cube has to have thick squares. A cube has 6 faces, and all the faces are squares. Okay. All right, so that's it for lesson 11.2, the attributes or characteristics of three-dimensional shapes. So until our next lesson, I will see you soon.